College Football Update with your host, Sean Spencer and Alex Loosemore.
College football storylines. And the reason why I brought that up is because we do need to talk about your head coach. Woo-wee. I feel like that is all we talk about. It went from talking about Deion Sanders to now Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. I'm ready to move off the subject, right? But it just keeps coming up.
It just won't go away. Jim Harbaugh was suspended, as you said. He found out through social media while he was on the plane to one of the biggest games of the year. The way it was done was not right. And obviously they're going to go, and there's a whole case. They're going to go actually have, I think on Friday, and talk to and just have their piece heard.
I believe it's the hearing for the temporary restraining order that was filed.
Yeah. So we want to see. I have a couple of the remarks. Shout out to CBS Sports, who kind of clipped and edited his remarks that he had when he first came out after the suspension was given to him. So here's some of the remarks, and he said some interesting things on the. Once we hear it, I'm going to let Alex say his thoughts on that.
So I'm not going to make any comments about where things stand with the ongoing circumstances because we have a hearing on Friday. I'm going to talk on Friday. Just looking for that opportunity. Due process. Not looking for special treatment, not looking for a popularity contest, just looking for the merit of what the case is. I senior in high school, I had a civics class, and talked about government, justice, and what I took away from that class was that you're innocent until proven guilty. That was 40 years ago. I'm not sick, feel great. Got a tremendous workout in today. Thank you, Coach Sean Lockwood, for that. I'm the iron wall that viruses bash against and shatter. These players, Blake Corum with the nose bloodied, and the emotion of the team, the perseverance, and then just the stalwartness of these guys. I mean, watching, I would have to say, everybody. It's got to be America's team. It's got to be America's team. America loves a team that beats the odds, beats the adversity, overcomes what the naysayers and critics, so-called experts think. That's my favorite kind of team.
America's team?
I don't like that comment. Even if you felt that way about this team, this is not the right time to say that. I don't like it. I really don't like that. You talked about putting that target on your back, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. This is one of those things that keeps making it bigger and bigger and bigger. Right. You look in your division, the NFL, and the Cowboys calling themselves America's team, and the target that puts on their back, and you've got the potential cheating scandal and everything else going on, and then you throw that in there. I was just like that when I said the same thing about Sherrone Moore. I was like, dude, come on, just file that away. You want to say that? Say it later once all this is cleared. Found it hilarious when he called himself the iron wall that viruses bash into and run away from. That was a very Jim Harbaugh quote. My favorite one from him is that he, for the longest time, he just actually switched up on this. I think this in that same press conference. For the longest time, he said that he doesn't like to eat chicken and doesn't want his quarterbacks to eat chicken because chickens are a nervous bird. That's been his thing for the longest time. And then in this same press conference, he got into, I changed my mind on that because they lay eggs and this and went into it. It was golden. I laughed hysterically at certain parts of this press conference, but when it came to that America's team comment, I was just like, dude, no, now is not the time for that.
Right. Well, even like what you were talking about, the rest of it was still kind of like, like, I've been working out and I'm good, I'm fresh. And, the thing that you were talking about, I'm like, what? What's going on?
That's Jim Harbaugh. And my other coach is Dan Campbell. So you see the guy get into it with. So, I love Coach Harbaugh. I love what he brings to the table, but it's just like, dude, there's certain times where you just you think before you speak,
Right. Oh my goodness, this is craziness. At the end of the day, it's a 3-game suspension that he will be serving, which basically he just cannot be on the sidelines during the week. Or during the game. On the week, he could be with the team and scouting. So they're still getting, that much needed, guidance and things from him. And you don't need bulletin board material if you're in Michigan right now. Yes. You're sitting there talking about they're coming after our coach. They're coming after our team. They're trying to take everything away from us. They're trying to take away from us off the field what they can't take away from us on the field. And I know it's sacrilegious in my household, but that just makes me want to ride with y'all, man, and be like, go blue. Come on, baby. I'm with that. Now,
well, the other teams, they're pretty much done. So
look. I might be staying at work tonight. All right, if you'll hear what I just said, but
if she watches the show before you get home, that door's gonna be locked. New deadbolt on the door. You ain't getting in. Your stuff's gonna be waiting outside the door.
Right. Oh man. Well, look. So we will see what happens and how this affects the team. Like I said, he's still coaching during the week, so the game plan is still being put in. And like you saw, Sharon Moore. I mean, they coached during the 3-game suspension earlier in the season, so they know what to expect. This is nothing new, and this is going to be interesting. You want to talk about an opportunity for Moore to be looked at higher than he may have potentially been looked at. There's no Harbaugh ahead of him. It's him. Obviously Harbaugh put in the game plan, but it's Moore who's running it. It's Moore playing it as the game goes by. And hey, shout out to him. Let's see what kind of opportunity he gets doing this. But we're going to see, man. We're going to see. I'm eager to see what happens on Friday, but I'm also eager, like you, for this thing to be done. Let's just play football.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it is far from over. So
I know. Yeah. But look, we are going to end it. We're not going to talk about that right now. We have to go on to something I believe we saw coming a while ago. Yeah. Jimbo Fisher gets fired from Texas A&M. Now, one of the reasons we thought he would not get fired is because of the amount of money that they gave him coming in. And I believe the buyout now is $76 million?
Biggest buyout ever.
Wow. I think that what did they say? The closest one was Gus Malzahn. It was like 21 million. And that was apparently like astronomical.
So one of those.
Right. Two. Oh, right. That is craziness. Well, talk to me. All right, because we know he was 6 years there. He was something like 45 and 25. His first 3 years, I think he was something like 26 and 10. 2020, they got up to 4th in the country. I mean, they had talent, but since then, I mean, he's been 19 and 15. They currently have a 9-game home losing streak.
Yeah.
It just has not been able to come. And it's not like he doesn't have the talent because 2022?
Number 1 recruiting class last year.
Right. Yeah. And there's only been 3 other teams that have out-recruited him in those years, and that's Georgia, Ohio State, and that's Bama. So I can't defend you, Fisher. Like, what do you – is this the right move? Let's start there.
Yes, it is. I feel like at this point, keeping Jimbo Fisher was just beating your head against a concrete wall. Yep. It didn't seem like the players really wanted to play for him anymore.
Yep.
Boosters clearly didn't want him there if they're going to pay him $76 million to leave. And just want to throw this out there. The best job in the world is a fired college football coach. Getting paid $76 million to walk away and do nothing.
Yes.
I'll take that.
In the next 60 days, they have to give him like $19 million. Come on.
Yep.
Come on, man. Let me coach somewhere and get fired. Come on. Good God.
Now, and then the list of candidates they have, well, that everyone else has thrown out there is interesting. Mike Elko seems to be the front runner. Former A&M defensive coordinator, so that fits there.
Yeah.
There was Dan Lanning. I don't think he leaves Oregon. I think he's more than happy there. Way down the list, I saw Dan Campbell, and I was like, back off. Well, and I don't think he's a college coach. So I don't think he wants to do the 365 days a year recruiting kids for 3 years from now, all that. But it's going to be interesting to see who is that next coach for A&M.
Yeah. Now, their interim coach right now is our D-line coach, Elijah Robinson. And they still have Bobby Petrino on the staff and DJ Durkin at the coordinator spot. So they're going to, apparently they're going to stay put. But look, we know how competitive the SEC is, and you're getting paid all that money and you have no SEC championship game appearances to show for it. They're not going to keep you that long.
Well, not even SEC championship appearances. Get this, Jimbo Fisher at a school like Texas A&M, one of the better coaches in college football, one of the top schools for a period there in college football, didn't hit 10 wins in a season. His best season was that COVID year, but it was still like 9-1.
Wow.
Didn't get to 10 wins ever at Texas A&M. And that was a school that when they hired him, gave him a plaque with a 20, and then the last two numbers were blank. Texas A&M national champions. That was on his desk that they gave him.
Oh man,
and
I feel for you.
Yeah.
Oh man. Look. At the end of the day, we've seen it. They never really had a quarterback. I think their last guy that they had was the Kellen Mond years.
Yeah.
Which was after the Manziel. They really never have been able to find it.
And that was Sumlin. That wasn't even
right.
Yeah.
And so
Fisher never found his quarterback.
He never was able to get that guy. I mean, we go back to their their hallmark win when they beat Bama, and that's when they had Devin A-Chain when he returned that kick for the touchdown. They had Zach Calzada, a backup quarterback, playing quarterback for them that day. They just never have had any consistency at that position. And I mean, on one side, it's like, well, that he got the axe, but the other side, it's like, well, he's sitting there with Ed Orgeron and all of them with a big old cigar, like, hey, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't got to listen to these kids and complain and doing this and that. I'm good. So
I guess to be like us on Saturdays, kick back and watch some college football.
There you go. Hey, you got some time on your hand, Jimbo. When you come on the show, we can interview you, buddy. Come on. We got a spot open.
Yeah.
Yo,
we don't quite have the $76 million for you, but
no. We'll give you a high five, buddy. All right, we'll give you a like, a share, and a subscribe. Let's go. Yo, quickly moving on. Zach Arnett also got let go of Mississippi State. This was his first year. He only went 4-6 in this year, but I mean, first and foremost, he was the coach that came in after the late Mike Leach passed away. And I mean, just from the start, things were kind of rough. They switched from the air raid offense to the pro style offense. Then you had Will Rogers get hurt midway through the season. And and they just came off incidentally playing Jimbo Fisher in Texas A&M and getting skunked 51-10, which also makes you go back to Jimbo. You're like, wait a minute. You just put up 51 on them, and they fired you?
Yep.
Oof, they really wanted you out.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, Zach Arnett is out, and he has a $4 million buyout. I can't say this is much of a surprise.
No.
We knew it was going to take time to get over the passing of Mike Leach, and whoever was that next guy it was going to be hard because we still think of Mississippi State and the air raid and Mike Leach, Will Rogers, those guys. So, I feel for this guy, but yeah, he's no longer a Mississippi State Bulldog. Yeah, buddy. And one more up. See that? He was so short. I had a little thing for him, but he's already gone. So we have to move on. A casualty from the game played against you guys. James Franklin and Penn State fire offensive coordinator Mike Yurcich. We have a little clip from his press conference, and then I want to show you a little stat about him that I'm going to ask the question, was it the OC? Let's see this real quick.
Obviously, the first thing is appreciate the contributions that Coach Yurcich made here. Obviously, we made a tough decision that we feel like was in the best interest of the program moving forward. I know there's going to be some questions, and I'll answer some questions, but obviously would like to spend as much time talking about our opponent this week as possible. A couple other things, kind of when you review the Michigan game, turnover battle, we lost. Explosive play battle, we lost. The third down battle, we lost. Sack, we won. Drive start battle, we lost. And then the penalties, we won. Sack battle, it was essentially a tie, but from a yardage standpoint, we won.
Yeah, buddy. So they fired Mike Yurcich after the 24-15 loss. One of the things that he was saying in the press conference was, there was things that he kind of told him. There's things that he said, this is kind of what I wanted to do. This is kind of direction I wanted to go. And he was saying that those things weren't getting done. There were some things he called in the game or even some suggestions he made that weren't coming. They weren't getting played out. So they said it was that time. What do you think of his remarks in lieu of the firing?
I feel like everything he said there was truthful. Absolutely that clip that he said there. And I mean, the one thing I said about Penn State was that the issue with them is the training wheels are still on Drew Aller. Mm-hmm. And this is a quarterback where you gotta, especially a young quarterback, I know it's national title or bust, but you got to let this kid make the mistakes. You got to let him grow. I feel like if he was the reason that Aller was still limited, then he should be gone. But he's a solid offense coordinator. He'll get picked up somewhere else. Right. But maybe just the fit wasn't there anymore.
Yeah. And, obviously, going back, looking at the videos, kind of looking at, the comments and the articles and the things of that nature. And, one of the questions was they didn't think that he, maybe he wasn't molding Aller in the way that they had wanted it. Maybe he wasn't, kind of guiding him and what's the word I'm looking for? Building him up, but Developing. Thank you, sir. Maybe they weren't developing him in the way that maybe Penn State would have liked. And look, we have talked about it all year long that Penn State starts slow. I mean, each of their games, they struggled early. And, fortunately for them, and, a week ago when they played Maryland, they turned it on late and that defense picked it up. But that offense has been an issue for them. And it shouldn't be that way with the amount of talents they have. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, James Franklin and Penn State fired. Now, I do want to say this, though. I do want to show another stat, and I want to get your opinion on it because you are directly implicated in this stat. Penn State, since the start of last season, James Franklin is 19-0 against all others, but you in Ohio State, he's 0-4.
Well, and not to mention most of those 19-0 are dominant wins.
Yeah.
Like this, they're a top 10 football program in the country. I wholeheartedly believe that. It's just there's 2 top 5 teams in the country that they got to play every year. Now that obviously that changes now, but it's tough that. And I was opposed to this for so long that your 3 best teams, and for most years even your 4 best teams, when Michigan State was up at the top like they were a couple of years ago, your 4 best teams were in the same division.
Right.
That's why I'm glad they're getting rid of the divisions and just kind of just playing ball. 2 best teams will go. But it's tough for Penn State because it's the same thing Michigan went through a few years ago when everyone was calling for Harbaugh's head.
Mm-hmm.
When it was we couldn't beat Ohio State, Michigan State, and Penn State.
Yep.
So it's just one of those things where you've got to figure out how to flip that switch, and then those wins start coming. But until then, it's kind of tough.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, we think about like the Ohio State games in years past where Franklin is able, get the W, and those were the ones that put him up on the map. But you have to have that sustained success. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The reason why Harbaugh gets so much love is he has that sustained success and is able to keep it moving, man. So, hey, we'll see kind of what happens.